Welcome to the club. Follow your dreams. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but I am saying it's going to be worth it. Moffat Machingura. Have you ever wondered whether starting your own business was a really dumb idea? I know I have. Passion business gone wrong. It was 10 p.m. and I could barely keep my eyes open. I set the alarm and I put it up high on the shelf so I'd have to get up to turn it off. Then I grabbed the pillow and laid down on the cold tiled floor, cuddling up next to my dog Leo. Anything more comfortable and I wouldn't have woken up in 12 hours. But 20 minutes was all the sleep I could afford if I wanted any chance at finishing the 52 flamenco costumes I was expected to deliver by Saturday. It was the last week of June 2012. 8 years after leaving my corporate software developer career in London to move to Spain to live my dream. The dream? Being my own boss, running a one-woman sewing studio specializing in made-to-measure flamenco dance costumes in the sunny south. I'd spent the first 15 months scratching my nails on countless dance school doors, offering my services only to hear, "Oh, we're always looking for a dressmaker who's really good, fast and reliable, but doesn't charge." Or an outright, "Go away." Of course I was over the moon when I finally had my lucky break in the form of an order for 12 dance costumes for a local flamenco school. More orders trickled in after that, and slowly word of mouth started to work in my favor and bring new clients to my studio door without me having to do too much. My dresses on theater stages were my marketing. From the outside, my life looked perfect. Living in the Albaicin, the gorgeous historic part of Granada, sun-drenched, the sounds of flamenco guitars and taconeo finding their way out from behind the walls of ancient Carmenes at all hours of the day. More and more of my costumes appeared on flamenco stages all over the world. One dancer even came all the way from Italy to have me make her wedding dress so it wouldn't just be pretty, but also fit for dancing. Over the years, the business and my workload continued to grow, slowly but steadily, until that last week of June in 2012. I called the months from early March to the end of June manic season. All the local dance schools organized end-of-term performances and ordered lots of costumes, every single one made to measure by me from design and pattern to the last stitch. By June, I was counting the hours to the last performance of the season, just one more school to go. 5 days before the performance, I received a phone call telling me that I'd have to make an additional 8 costumes. The dancers had hoped to find something suitable in local shops, but flamenco dancers come in all shapes and sizes, and they'd had no luck. From one second to the next, I was counting the hours for entirely different reasons. With the additional last-minute garments, I now had over 100 hours of work ahead of me, but only 4 days left until the performance. Too much to do by myself, no time to find and train up help. Not finishing wasn't an option if I didn't want to ruin my hard-earned reputation. Tears were running down my face, the cold sores in both corners of my mouth burning from the salt. A neighbor stepped in for a few hours each day, helping with little jobs. Another one brought some sandwiches to get us through. I delivered the last dresses to the theater while the first dancers were already on stage, after working 4 hours and 3 nights straight without sleeping, except for the 20 minutes on the floor next to the dog. Eyes half closed, shoulder bones showing from losing who knows how many pounds, and yes, despite everything, a massive sense of satisfaction and pride. I received my knockout blow 2 days later when I found out that 2 of the dancers who still owed me money had left to go on holiday for 3 months. What the fuck? How dare they, after everything I'd done for them? I was a wreck, furious, an exhausted shadow of myself physically, constantly on the edge of tears, with barely enough in the bank account to get through the following month. How on earth could I end up like that? What had happened to the glamorous passion business? If you're scratching your head and wondering what went wrong, I don't blame you. But as we dig in, you'll see that I fell into some traps that are more common than you might think, and that you might have stumbled into yourself. In an interview with Marree for Marree TV, Todd Henry, author of Louder Than Words, Harness the Power of Your Authentic Voice, The Accidental Creative, and Die Empty, talks about how every creative project has a U-shape. It's like walking into a canyon. In the beginning, you look across the canyon and you see the destination. Everything's clear, you can see the path, it seems easy to get to the other side. Once you hike down into the canyon, you lose sight of that destination. The path is no longer clear. Moving ahead is difficult. You feel lost and even a bit scared. You start wondering how you'll ever get to the other side and whether the whole trip was even worth it. But you keep going and start heading up the hill leading out of the canyon. Once you see the destination again, way off in the distance but clearly visible ahead of you, you charge on with new energy, and once you've reached the top, you look back at this incredible, life-changing experience and wouldn't want to miss a single minute of the journey. Dov Gordon sums up the stages perfectly. First, you oversimplify. Second, you overcomplicate. Third, you find simplicity beyond complexity. I literally laughed out loud the first time I heard him say it, because boy did I oversimplify in my early sewing business days. I decided to start my own business because I'd fallen in love with Granada and I was looking for a way to stay. The software industry in London wasn't what it used to be. The work I'd loved was now being outsourced to Indian companies, and I wasn't interested in a career in project management. In any case, the idea of reaching my 40s and 50s and sending out resumes looking for new projects wasn't appealing at all. So why not start my own business, taking the helm of my little ship, creating job security rather than hoping for it? What could possibly go wrong? I loved sewing and I loved flamenco, but I knew nothing about business. I grew up in East Germany where entrepreneurship was nothing, and nobody in my family had ever owned a business. But how hard could it be? All I needed was to find a poor sucker who would buy a costume I made, then another and another. I knew it might take a while, but I wanted to give it a decent shot rather than look back years later wondering what life in Spain would have been like. And no, it didn't occur to me to get help building the business. I know now it's not just me. When I meet new business owners, I find that everyone oversimplifies the journey ahead, and most are not interested in getting help at this stage. Oh, thanks, I'm good. I have a stand at a local market next month. I just ordered 4 rolls of fabrics, so I'm all set. An aspiring dressmaker told me in response to offering her an Ask Me Anything call. All I need is a simple website. I just finished my coach certification and how to get clients was part of the program, so I'm ready to roll. If this sounds familiar, welcome to the club. But maybe the days of oversimplifying are behind you. The bottom of the canyon. I hit the bottom of my sewing business canyon after that last performance of the 2012 manic season. So how did I end up there? In a word, slowly. I think that's why it took me so long to realize that the business I'd built wasn't sustainable. When I started, I knew nothing about business models or expert positioning. All I knew was that as a self-taught sewing enthusiast, I wasn't a real professional dressmaker. I didn't have enough experience or the reputation to charge a lot. I also knew that I didn't want to hire staff. I'd started the business because I loved sewing and I wasn't going to turn into a manager. As you can imagine, or perhaps know from your own experience, charging low prices as a solo service provider is a recipe for staying poor and burning out if you manage to get the business off the ground. Again, it doesn't matter what your business is, especially if starting your own business involved a career change. The low price trap is an easy one to fall into and often a hard one to get out of. The quick fix trap. If in the summer of 2012, somebody had offered me a proven success formula to get me off my relentless hamster wheel, I would have grabbed it, no doubt about it. Luckily for me, nobody promised me a quick fix formula when I hit my low point. The market wasn't flooded with business coaches yet. But these days, you're swamped with offers of the type, just sign up for my 6-step proven success formula and make 6 figures in 6 weeks. They're so tempting when you're exhausted from working too hard for too little. They're so tempting when you run out of time or money to make it work. But if you've ever fallen for one, you know they do more harm than good. And no, it's not just you. I've seen the disappointment, the frustration, the self-doubt in way too many capable, hardworking people who are passionate about their work but feel like they're pushing a big boulder up a hill. In fact, most of my current clients have hired me after not getting the results they hoped for with follow my proven formula type programs. What makes them dangerous is that their promise is a half-truth, not an outright lie you detect quickly. So what's wrong with a proven success formula? Let me clarify what I mean. There's nothing wrong with a set of best practices, a sequence of steps that are proven to get an outcome or build a skill. What I believe is wrong is to sell the formula as the blueprint for your business building puzzle. Just do this one thing and your business will be thriving. You've heard the claims. Just this one more thing. So hard to resist, isn't it? The funniest one I've ever come across was during a webinar selling software to create pretty lead magnets, the free resource that's commonly offered to get people to subscribe to an email list. They literally summed it up like this, no joke. Get super clear on your ideal client, tick. Find out what problem they want to solve, tick. Make a pretty lead magnet, tick. Have a thriving business. Oh? What I'm saying is yes. Learning how to create a lead magnet makes sense. And no, it's not the one thing that will explode your business. It's a piece of the puzzle, not the puzzle itself. So no, you didn't waste your time studying a bunch of formulas. What will waste your time is following formula after formula, looking for the one that works. It's not about finding the one that works. It's about figuring out how any particular piece fits into your overall puzzle. Doing so takes the pressure off, always a good thing, and it takes the weight of expectation of every single thing you learn. And yes, there is a lot to learn, a lot of puzzle pieces to assemble to build your business, no matter what anyone promises. So you better make friends with the idea. The gotta get it right trap. If you're like me, the capable, driven, independent type who takes pride in being self-sufficient, chances are you'll want to figure it out all by yourself. Nothing wrong with that if you have the time and patience for it. But many solopreneurs don't, especially when retirement age is creeping up on you faster than you'd like. There's no time for trial and error or lengthy detours. You can't afford to get it wrong. So you overthink every move, every decision. Or you fall into another common trap, following 100 mentors at the same time. There's no problem with learning from different people. In fact, I highly recommend it. Just not all at once. Because you'll spend your time and energy weighing up one mentor's opinion against the others and do nothing. It's like trying to listen to 100 people talk at the same time. You end up with a headache and no idea of what any of them have said. If you've fallen into the gotta get it right trap in one way or another, welcome to the club. Just remember, you can't expect to hit a hole-in-one if you've never played golf before. Missed shots aren't a sign of failure. You need them to get good. The inner shit trap. After I'd somewhat recovered from my 4 days, 3 nights sewing marathon, I sat down, perhaps for the first time since starting the business, and thought about what I wanted, and more importantly, what I was no longer willing to tolerate. I fucking hate my clients, all of them, I heard myself say out loud. I was done. For the first time since opening the sewing studio doors, I was ready to close them for good. But there are some lovely clients. Okay. But I will no longer allow anybody to boss me around, demand I deliver costumes to their house whenever they want, pay late or not show up for appointments. They'll go on my mental blacklist. meaning I'll finish the current project, but I will never work for them again. Oh, just thinking that felt so good. Of course, it didn't take long until a dancer client called me. I won't have time to pick up the dress today. I need you to bring it to the theatre at 10 p.m. Just don't be late. Oh, I'm sorry, sweetie. That won't be possible. Well, actually, don't worry about it. I'll pick it up on Monday. Works better anyway. What? Was it really that easy to say no? Tears welled up as it slowly dawned on me that the relentless pressure I'd felt all those years, pushed around by clients I felt I depended on, was entirely self-inflicted. No had always been a possible answer, in fact often the kindest one I could have given. Only I didn't know. No is just not part of a people pleaser's vocabulary. I'd always been a people pleaser. How that came to be is a story for another day, because it isn't about people pleasing. It's about your inner shit. What is it for you? Feeling not good enough? Can't seem to make or keep money? Perfectionism? Feel of failure or success? Whatever it is, it will show up in your business and trip you up until you deal with it. The inner shit trap is perhaps the one I least expected. Once more, if you can relate, welcome to the club. There's a diamond underneath every shit pile. It's just really hard to see it when you're in the thick of it all. Looking back, those two dancers running off without paying me after my sewing marathon turned out to be the biggest gift for me. I finally got to see that no didn't mean unhappy clients, just like yes didn't make them happy. And even an unhappy client didn't mean the collapse of my business, with me ending up living under a bridge. I know this might sound ridiculous to you, but it's what ran my life and business until I finally saw the truth. Humbling and oh so liberating. There's always something to learn from anything that doesn't go your way. And the sooner you put your energy into finding it, the better your experience of your business building journey will be. What does simplicity beyond complexity look like for you? For me, adding the word no to my vocabulary meant that I no longer bent over backward to please my clients. Funny enough, clients caught on quickly and pretty much overnight became less demanding and easier to deal with. Nothing seemed different on the outside, but my experience of the business had changed 180 degrees. I now had a business that much closer resembled the boutique-style sewing studio I'd envisaged when I first moved to Spain. Passion business gone right. It wasn't long before I felt the urge to share what I'd learned with others who dared to go for their dreams but found the journey unexpectedly long and hard. I believe passions are precious gifts that need to be lived, and I didn't want anyone to give up disillusion simply because they lacked some knowledge and the right support. Why don't you write a book? I loved the idea, but I wanted a more direct way of helping people carve out their own path, so I decided to train as a coach. Transitioning away from the sewing business and building a coaching practice was a whole new canyon. Another career change, starting from scratch in a new field again. New unexpected challenges. Another story for another day. But this time, I knew what to expect. I understood that building a business is a creative process with a U-shape. With everything I'd learned from the sewing business, it took a fraction of the time to get the second business off the ground. Then I had an idea to find an outlet for my love for dogs. The Soul Touched by Dogs podcast might look like an overnight success to others, but now you know better. You know that I simply had the advantage of having built two businesses before. It's so much easier when you have experience and understand the rules of the game. That reminds me of a funny moment in my early days in the software industry. Some colleagues set me down in front of a screen and handed me a joystick. Just shoot at the aliens and watch your back. They were addicted to a new video game and thought I'd like it too. So I tried. My first video game session ever. No, don't shoot the green ones. They're your allies. What allies? Beep, 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 50% of life force left. Oh shit. Be careful and don't forget to collect your weapons. I had no idea what was going on. I was clinging to that joystick, not knowing where the next blow would come from. And it took just a few minutes before the rest of my life force was gone. Not much fun. If you now think that that sounds just like building a business, you know what I'll say. Welcome to the club. The thing is, when you know the rules of the game, you can play to win, not just to hang on for dear life. And you'll get better and faster every time you play. Here are some of the rules of the game I wish I'd known then and want you to know now. Think about what you want, early and often. It's hard to find your path when you don't know where you're going. Adopt a business model that allows the business to grow without burning you out. Alex Hormozi talks about how you have to choose which art you want to master. The art of delivering your thing or the art of building a factory that delivers your thing. Personally, I don't want to build a factory. What I want and help my clients build is what I call a boutique business, a model that offers freedom, ease, and burnout-free growth with premium offers, stress-free systems, and marketing that feels like you. Whatever it is for you, make sure it's a conscious decision. Learn about marketing even if you wish you didn't have to. Without clients, you don't have a business. And without marketing, it's hard to get enough clients to make enough money to keep the doors open. It's easier when you look at marketing not as selling your soul, but as connecting with the people who want what you offer. Slow and steady wins the race. Tiny steps don't sound as exciting as a massive overnight success, but they keep you moving forward without overwhelm. As for overnight success, this quote from a Forbes article sums it up perfectly. What most people call overnight success is actually the market suddenly realizing the value of a great product and service that had been kept in obscurity for too long while its creators refused to give up. When you wonder how tiny is tiny enough, remember, when it feels hard, you're skipping steps. Don't complain. Find the steps you're skipping. It's a crash course in personal growth. No tool or tactic will help you when your inner saboteur takes over. Be prepared to deal with it. It'll improve every aspect of your life. Building a business is like climbing Mount Everest. You don't get to admire the view without the climb. Don't waste your time with anyone promising that you can. True simplicity comes from understanding, not from shoving crucial details under the carpet. Beware of any guru or program that has no clear answer to your question. But how? It's your job to learn enough to be able to trust your own judgment, because someone else's path won't take you to your destination. Get help from someone who gets you, who's been where you are, done what you want to do, and who's acting in your best interest. You can't bypass the canyon, even or perhaps especially if it's not your first expedition. It won't ever be easy, but it will always be worth it. Do you feel stuck at the bottom of your business building canyon? Let's talk or join the Mavericks community, because with the right support, you'll climb out faster, easier, and with a lot more fun along the way. Anke Herrmann started her entrepreneurial journey in 2004 when she quit her software developer career in the UK and moved to Spain to start her sewing business, specializing in custom flamenco dance costumes. It felt like riding a wild elephant until I realized that building a business really is a creative process, just like developing software or sewing a dress, a magical mix of vision, skill, and soul. In 2016, she trained as a clarity coach, and now she's on a mission to help people turn their passion into businesses they can be proud of, without chasing quick fixes or following cookie-cutter solutions. Drawing on her own experience of building 2 businesses from scratch, she demystifies the process, making the daunting feel doable. With honesty and warmth, she cuts through the noise and guides others to create something real, meaningful, and uniquely their own. She's the author of Taming the Tech Monster and co-author of My Fur Baby Wrote This Book. She's the founder of Soul Touched by Dogs and loves Albert Einstein quotes like this one: "If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough."